Hello, everybody. Welcome back to episode 2 of the podcast that still doesn't have a name yet, but that's all right. It's your boy Jonah and Tyler, and
Sup?
we're back for right where we left off last time. Story time. All
The
right.
Velocitor's death. That's
Yes.
gonna be the name of this one.
Yes, that will be
I like that title.
Death of a Veloster.
Yeah.
Uh, do you get that reference?
No.
Okay, there's a song by Panic at the Disco called "Death of a
Oh
Bachelor,"
boy.
and so instead, it is "Death of a Veloster."
Okay.
So
Velocitor's death.
yes, of course. Um, yes. So they need a lot of context. We need to go way
Yes.
back. Okay, so summer 2020. Uh, it's June 5th, and I'm at my friend's house playing Spicy Uno. Okay. Listen, Spicy Uno is the elite version of Uno.
No, it's not.
Yes, it
No,
is.
it's
It
not.
is so much better. It's literally Uno, but with like more rules that make the game harder, which in
It makes
turn,
it complicated.
yes, which makes it
And
more
my small
fun.
brain doesn't comprehend that.
No,
I'm small brain here.
okay. Anyways, I'm at my friend's house playing some Spicy Uno. We're all sitting in a circle on the ground, and basically, since I was 10 years old, I had this problem with my knee where every once in a while my knee would like pop out of place, which sounds it does not sound great. But I wasn't that worried about it because all I had to do was straighten my leg and it would pop back into place. So I wasn't that worried.
Oh my gosh.
Anyways,
You
so
have problems.
it, I just got used to it, I guess. I was like, if this is fixable, I don't it's fine because I can just pop it back into place whenever it happens. So it's not a big deal. Well, anyways, June 5th, 2020 comes around and um my knee pops out of place. So I go to straighten it to pop it back in and it doesn't. And I'm like, "Oh crap." Because like I basically can't bear weight on it when it's out of place, and I didn't understand what was going on like inside the knee, so I was just kind
Yeah.
of like you know
Did your
it,
parents know anything about this?
so they knew that it like was something that happened where it would pop out of place and then I could pop it back in, like they
Okay.
knew about that, but it wasn't something that happened like super often, and it wasn't much of a concern because like it was like I could just fix it like right then
Yeah.
and there, and so it like sometimes it would just happen and I would like not even think about it because I was
Yeah.
just like this is
Yeah, because you're a
normal.
kid. Like, who
Right.
cares?
Well, even like later on, like I still like was not, when I was really young, I didn't really say anything to them because it was normal. But then like as I got
Yeah.
older, like it happened like one time and I was like, this is something that normally happens. I'm just used to it. But you know, they so they knew kind of about it, but again, didn't seem like a big deal because it wasn't like, doing anything wrong to me. At
Yeah.
least so we thought. So
As you knew.
this is yes. And so after June 5th, my knee came out of place. Um, it was late and I had to drive home like that. It was the right knee, so it was like painful to drive
Oh,
home. So the thing is like when my knee is bent, it like doesn't hurt at all when that happens, but if I start to straighten my leg, it hurts more and more until I straighten all the way out and it pops into place and then it feels fine, which
oh my
is
gosh.
which is terrible. But I'm
Yeah,
like,
that sounds really
right.
bad.
So when I straightened it to like pop it back into place, like it got more and more painful. And then like when I got my leg all the way straight, it didn't pop into back into place. Like it was really painful, and I was like, no.
Oh my
But
gosh.
thankfully, because when I drive, I sit super duper close to the steering wheel, and
Oh
so
my gosh. Yeah.
and so my knee is still like considerably bent when I drove home. So I drove home okay, slightly painful, but it wasn't that bad. The only issue was like couldn't put like full weight on the foot. Like I could use my like the top of my foot, like where my toes are, but like I couldn't put like full weight on it. So
Yeah, you probably should have drove home.
yeah, but I was fine. It
Just
was
let some dot on it. You'll be fine.
yes, yeah, it was fine. Well, and I had this happen once before where it didn't pop it back into place, but then like I went home and went to bed and woke up the next day and it was fine. Like it like popped back into place on its own or something. I don't know.
Oh
But this
boy.
time that didn't happen, and I was like, oh no, this is bad. So we
I'd
go
say so.
we go to the ER, okay, and they're like, okay, we're gonna X-ray you, and I said, okay, that's fine. Um,
Okay.
okay, like please, so we can figure this out. So they went and did X-rays. They're like, we don't really see anything wrong, but like obviously something is wrong because like you're in pain and like this doesn't seem right. And so we're gonna get you an MRI. Well, it took probably a week and a half to
Oh
get the
jeez.
MRI. So the entire time, so they gave me crutches, and I was on crutches um, for the whole week and a half. Couldn't go to work, which was terrible. Um, and then after that, I was still pretty mobile though. And then after that, they did the MRI, and then like 2 days later, we got the results or something, or maybe it was the next day. Um, and they were like, "Yeah, we need you to come in so we can like tell you about this." So we go in, and they're like, "So your meniscus." So for anybody that doesn't know, the meniscus is like this piece of cartilage that sits in between your leg bones. So the I think it's the tibia and the fibia or something. Basically, the giant bone that's in your quad, like around your quads, and then the giant bone that's like by your calf. Okay, it sits in between those and basically acts as a cushion, so these bones don't rub into each other. Now, the meniscus is also like two parts, so like there's the left piece and then a right piece, but they work in tandem together. Well, I think it was the outer piece on my right leg that had essentially torn. And not only had it torn, but the piece that had torn had literally flipped over to the
Oh.
ins to the inside of where it shouldn't be. Basically, like where my like bones are supposed to be like able to have some freedom to move, it had flipped over into their area, so the one bone could not like move the way it's supposed to.
Yeah, that sounds like problems.
Yeah, so they were like, "So yeah, we're gonna have to do surgery on you,"
Oh.
and I was like, "Okay." So had a like a pre operation meeting or whatever, and he's like, "Okay, so one of two things could happen, and we're not gonna know until we open you up," which was also stressful. But they were like,
That's great to hear.
yeah, I know, right? So they were like, we can do one of two surgeries. The first surgery is a meniscectomy. I think that's how you pronounce it.
Hmm.
Menis something like that. Basically, they would remove the piece of the meniscus that was torn. The recovery would be like you couldn't walk for 2 days, and then you would be like fine, and you do therapy for physical therapy for like a couple weeks or something.
Huh.
The only problem with that was in the long run, you have a higher chance of getting arthritis in that knee at a younger
Yeah,
age, at like a
that
younger age,
sucks. That would
which,
suck.
yeah, um, which would really suck, but the recovery was fast.
Mhm.
Anyways, the other thing they could do would be a meniscular repair where they actually repair the torn piece, which would be like no risk of early arthritis, but you can't walk basically for 4 weeks, and then you have to do 6 months of physical therapy, which is
Jeez.
much more rigorous than the other recovery. But you know, he was like, I have no idea until I cut you open, if we're gonna be able to repair it or not. And so I was like, okay. Anyways, in the meantime, I was without a car at this point. My '04 red Mazda 3 hatchback had sadly died. Um, Literally, like one day, it just like started. Uh, I don't know. I had changed the oil like a month before this happened. The car had burned so much oil, plus apparently there had been a leak or something, that it ran out of oil within a month of changing it, which is
Oh,
like
jeez.
unheard of. I mean, like
That's
literally,
really
there
bad.
couldn't have been more than like, you know, 300 miles at the most on the car at that point. I was just like,
Jeez.
how did this happen? Because basically, I took off one day and the car just started making this loud knock, 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 knock sound as I was driving. I was like, this is bad. Like, this is bad, bad. And I checked. I ended up, you know, I got home with the car making the knocking sound. Um, Let it sit for a while, and then pulled the dipstick and found metal shavings. And I was like, this is bad.
Yeah,
Um,
for people who don't know cars, that's extremely bad.
that
Like
you
the engine is done
Yeah,
by that
like
point.
the engine, if there's metal shavings in your oil pan, there's a good chance that your car is your engine is not having a good time.
Yeah. You would
That's
have to do an engine swap by that point.
pretty much, or rebuild it, if it's
Yeah.
if it's salvageable, because there's a chance it could be, depending on how much damage is done. But anyways, so I had been without a car since February. It's my senior year of high school, which kind of sucked. However, um, this happened in February, and then March is when COVID hit, and so we didn't even have school, so it wasn't like a big deal.
Yeah.
The last like month kind of sucked, but after that, it wasn't bad. So, anyways, it's summer, and like we've been like looking for a car for a long time. Well, the day before my surgery, we just happened to find like an awesome Hyundai Veloster, 2013 Hyundai Veloster Turbo. Um, it was black and had like these red mud flaps already on it, yellow fog lights, um, super cool. And my we looked at it and we're like, this is an awesome deal. I mean, for the mileage that was on it, it should have been priced at like 3.5 grand more than it was. Like, it was
Hmm.
fantastic value. So we were like, me and my dad were like, okay, we'll go check it out. So we do. Ended up putting a down payment on it and financing, and we're like, okay, we're gonna do this.
How much did you actually pay for it?
So I put down a down payment of about just under $700, and then took out a loan for $8,500 from the bank, um, which that will be important later in the story. So
Hang on. I'm gonna pause you for a second.
okay,
um I've been looking for calls lately. That'll be a
oh
story from down.
yes,
And
we
I actually found that exact one, like a Hyundai Veloster
yeah
Turbo
yeah.
for $5,600.
Oh, nice. You know how many miles were on it?
I don't think it was a whole lot.
Oh, well, that's pretty good. What do
Yeah,
you know the year?
I don't remember.
Okay.
It
Anyways,
looked pretty similar to what yours was.
yeah. So it's probably a 2012 to 2015 or 16, somewhere
Probably.
in there, because they've changed their style of them a little bit recently. But
Yeah.
um, essentially, the where was I? I just totally blanked for a second. I was talking about, oh yeah, okay, so the day before surgery, I get this car, okay? I'm so excited. And like, okay, so I go in the next morning for surgery. I can't drive. Uh I you know, I could a little bit, but not much. And so go in for surgery the next day. They put me under, and I remember waking up and I'm like completely drugged up, like so drugged up, so on these pain meds because I just had surgery. They like cut my knee open. Um, and I look over to the nurse and I'm like, "Hey, what kind of surgery did they do?" And she's like, "Oh, they repaired it." I was like, "Oh, cool." Like literally, that's exactly how I sat. Like I was so out of it. So, anyways, the pain meds that they had me on weren't working, and so they had to give me like they called the surgeon, and the surgeon was like, "Oh, just give him this pain med and just give him like a lot of it, basically." And like I literally I basically was about to pass out, and the nurse had to keep like tapping me to keep me awake because like the pain meds were so strong that my whole body was just becoming completely numb.
Oh boy.
Anyway, so they finally got me out of there. I mean, I was in there for a long time, but they finally got me out, got me into like the like post recovery room where you just kind of like that's like after they give you all the pain meds, then they take you there, and then like my dad was there, so I got to just like kind of get off the anesthesia and the pain meds a little bit, and I realized that's like it hit me like I'm not gonna be able to drive my car, and I just started bawling. I mean, you know, like just bawling my eyes out because I had just bought this car and wasn't going to be able to drive it for like a month and a half. I was so sad that I wouldn't be able to drive my veloster. And so, anyways, I was pretty much on bed rest for like 3 weeks, um, which was literally miserable. Had to have like ice constantly on my knee because it was like just giant, super swollen.
Oh boy.
It was crazy. I mean, it was fat. My whole leg was just fat.
Fat
Uh,
knee.
yes. Um, and so, anyways, after those like 3 weeks had passed, I started being able to like put a little bit of weight on it again. And I actually got to the point where I didn't need the crutches anymore. So that was really good. I finally was like had enough strength to do that. But then I had to do like 6 months of physical therapy, which was not great. But anyways, after I think it was 6 weeks post operation, they said you can drive again. So by this point, school is like 2 weeks away. Like it's 2 weeks till college starts. But I have my car now, so I can drive it. I'm excited. It's awesome. I'm so happy. Uh, so any,
Only 2 weeks, huh?
I'm pretty sure, yeah. And so,
Huh.
anyways, so I'm happy with my car for 2 weeks while I'm in Ohio. That's where I'm from, and then drove it to school with my fam. Uh, got settled into school and everything. At this point, for money, for income, I was door dashing. Well, I was coming home one day from door dashing. This is about 2 weeks after I'd moved in, and I'm going down like the main road that it takes to get to the college, and a deer jumps out in front of the car, and I like completely like I had no time to react, completely panicked, just cranked the wheel to miss the deer. Which, by the way, do not miss the deer. Hit the
Yeah.
deer. It is better for 1,000 reasons. Okay, I don't know why. That was my instant reaction.
Yeah, I
You
think that's
know,
pretty much everyone's instant reaction.
you
They
know.
don't think, they just
You
do
can't
what
you
their
can't think.
body
You
wants
can't
them to
you
do.
can't think at in that time. It's an instant
Instinct.
reaction. exactly. So, I swerved, somehow missed the deer, which is, I mean, I guess that's what my thought
Yeah.
process was there. But I missed the deer. Literally went off the road, went in between a telephone pole, a fire hydrant, and a mailbox. Pretty much jumped sort of somebody's driveway, like, because it's like the driveway is kind of inclined up from the grass, and so kind of jumped that and went down into a rocky ditch. And yeah, the car did not fare well. Most of the bumper, front and back, was gone. The It didn't look terrible, um,
Yeah.
but
It actually looked pretty fine
it
besides the
looked
bumper.
pretty okay. Surprising, even though it was sitting on some like pointy rocks, so that was kind of scary.
Yeah.
Um, but I got out of the car. I called my dad because I didn't know what to do, and then he was like, "Okay, you need to like call 911 just to say like you were in an accident, you need help, so like they can send some police to you." So I did that. Um, I was like freaking out. I mean, freaking out because like I had never been in something like this. And so, anyways, that happened, and police came, had to file a whole report, had to get a tow truck, which was awful. And here's here's what really wrecked the car. The guy towing the car out of the ditch said that car is totaled, and did not put the car in neutral, did not do anything like that. Literally towed the car up the hill backwards, and I had like multiple flat tires because of the
Yeah.
accident. And so drags the entire engine compartment across the ground.
Like
Um
even the cops that were there, he said this dude is an idiot for how he's pulling it out.
yeah,
Even the cops said that.
right,
Like,
exactly. And it was just like, oh no.
yeah.
But it all ended up working out. I'll get to that here in a little bit. But anyways, so they tow it, and then I get back home, and I'm just like miserable. um, but my dad then starts talking to the insurance agencies and stuff. They're like, "We'll get you a rental car, um, for a few weeks. So while we like figure out insurance stuff and how much it's going to cost to repair and all that." So I get a rental car or whatever. It's this like tiny 2018, I think, Nissan Versa. It's
Yeah.
like,
That thing was ugly.
dude, it was ugly, and it was. I am very sorry if you drive a Nissan Versa, but that
Yes, I'm
I'm
sorry.
sorry.
Those things suck.
I'm sorry that you picked that as your car to drive.
Hey, it could be worse. It could be a Prius.
That's fair. Listen, at least Priuses get like incredible fuel economy.
Yes, but
This
they're
thing, this
ugly
thing
and
didn't.
then
So is
no.
this thing. This thing is ugly. It was slow, and has worse fuel economy than that. So it was really
Yeah.
bad. Anyways, um, it took the insurance company like 3 weeks to look at the damage. But I had actually gone and looked at the car during that time too, and saw, like, because the dude had dragged it on the ground the way he had, it had literally like ripped the oil like filter like forward, ripped the whole engine bay forward really, and just like had jacked up the car so bad. I'm pretty sure he like ruined the drivetrain too, which is just like
Probably.
because of the
Yeah,
way
because it was in like park or something like that. He
right, it
didn't put it in neutral or anything.
exactly. And that made me really mad. And I tried to tell him that, and he's like, "No, that thing's totaled." I'm like, "No, it's not." And he wouldn't listen to me. It was very frustrating. Um, but
Yeah.
yeah, he didn't care. He did not want to be there. But
He wasn't having it.
no, he was not. Anyways, so it literally took the insurance company 3 weeks to figure out how much it was going to cost. and they finally predicted like how much it would cost to repair, and that outweighed the cost of the car. So they were like, the car's totaled. But here's where things actually went right. They looked at the car, um, and because it was totaled, the insurance company had to value it so they know how much to give us. Like, so they value the car and then they give you how much they think that the car is worth. They valued the car at 11.5 grand.
Oh my gosh.
So I made $3,000 off the car somehow,
Jeez.
which, and like I said, like when we bought that car, it should have been valued like $3,500 higher than it was, which is around 12 grand, which is
Yeah.
what they almost valued it at. And so that's honestly how much the car like was worth, really. And I just happened to like snag a really great deal on it. Um, but it all worked out in the end because with that money, the extra money that we got from that, my parents paid off um, my dad's car. They paid off a different car. No, what they did was they used that money. So it's so funny because 2 weeks after I wrecked my veloster, my parents wrecked. They hit a deer. They actually hit a deer, and so the running joke is that that the deer I missed is the one that they hit 2 weeks later in their '05 Honda Odyssey. And so they used more of that money because like that was a whole process. Like they hit the deer before I even knew how much money I was getting for the veloster or whatever. And so um they used that money to pay off my dad's car and then to put a down payment for a 2016 Honda Odyssey. So it all worked out
Nice.
amazing. I mean, God was definitely just looking out for me through all of that. And that is essentially the story of the veloster.
Yeah.
I know that was a long story because like you have to set up a lot. You have to talk about,
Yes.
well, see, I didn't have the Mazda because of this, and
Mhm.
then I had knee surgery, which made life more difficult because I couldn't drive it for the first month, and then I went and bought the car and I wrecked it and like all this insurance, like it's just, whew,
Yeah.
yeah.
So my side on this.
Oh boy.
Yeah. So I was coming home. I was coming back to uh, I don't know what you call it anymore. The dorm rooms,
Yeah.
and it was roughly 7 o'clock or something like that. Like I just got done eating or something like that, and I got a call from this dude.
Yeah.
I
Yes.
was on my way back from eating, and he was like, "Dude, I wrecked my car," and I was like, "What?" And he was like,
Yeah.
"I wrecked my car. Can you come pick me up?" And then the dude hang up. He hung up. He didn't say where he
I did.
was.
Did
Yeah,
I?
you didn't. Yeah, you
Nuh-uh.
didn't say where you were or
Oh
anything.
my gosh. That's
So I ran up, grabbed my keys, jumped in my truck, and I called him back, saying, "Where are you?" And he was like, "I'm down this road." And
Yeah. I was right down the road from the school, so it wasn't
yeah,
like,
but it was like a week and a half, 2 weeks
yes.
into school.
Right. So you
I didn't know the roads or anything. So I was
right.
like, left or right from school.
I was yeah.
Uh,
So yeah.
so I went to go pick him up, and the cops didn't show up yet. Um, I just saw him on the road. I didn't see his car at all. Like the ditch was pretty deep,
Yeah. It
and
was bad.
I just parked on the side of the road, and there was cars going by.
Yeah.
It wasn't a good place to be.
No.
Uh, but his car, it looked fine, but the rocks and stuff, it was pretty bad. Um, and it was late by the time we left.
Mhm.
It was like what, 9 o'clock, 10.
Oh, it was. It was like
Maybe
9:30.
later than that.
I think it
I
was
don't know.
9:30 or something. But yeah,
Yeah, it was bad.
I was miserable that night.
Yeah.
But it worked out, you know. It was
At least it
it's
didn't rain.
yes. It was a story to behold.
Yeah.
It was, it was the experience is there too, It was an experience that happened and that's it, you know.
Yeah.
You know, we you never feel more alive than when you're almost dead. That's all I can say.
You need that like on a mug or a
Yes, I
t-shirt or
do.
something.
No, I just love quoting that from Cars 2. Um that's f- literally
Uh,
like I think about that line all the time from Finn McMissile. Shout out Disney, give us a sponsor.
oh, oh boy.
Come on, Pixar Studios. Come on. You know you want to.
Pixar just from a quote we said.
Just for the quote, please sponsor us.
Oh boy. I don't think it works the way you think it does.
I wish. I'm gonna say that like every episode. Like
Just hoping.
somebody sponsor us.
Oh boy.
Hyundai sponsor us. Come on, man.
Specifically for the Velocity deck.
Yeah, can I get a new Veloster? Like, please. No.
A new Velocity Turbo
Yes, yes. No,
with
actually,
more power and everything.
yes, because I now have a car with even more power than that. So
Yes.
that's insane to me. But yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah.
Oh boy.
Whew, that was. But yes, that was quite the event.
Yeah.
Definitely an interesting, part of life. 2020 was quite the year for me. That's all I can say. 2020 to 2021 has been
2020 up till now. And
some
still going.
it kind of summer it kind of smoothed out again. But from literally from the beginning of 2020 to basically halfway through 2021 was just this insane roller coaster of thing that just
Yeah.
yeah, all over the place. Um
Yeah.
but at the
And
end
that's just kind of how life is.
it is but this was like on a level that I had never experienced before. I mean, this was, just things going crazy left and right. And COVID didn't help. COVID was, half of it, but
Yeah.
yeah, a whole bunch of stuff
COVID hit
went.
hard for everyone.
It really did. I didn't get like the end of my senior year. I didn't get to graduate normally. I didn't.
Yeah.
I didn't get to go to prom. I didn't get any of that. So that's just the way it is.
Yeah. Should that be the next episode?
What?
Talking about our final high school year, senior year with COVID.
No, because
He's just shaking his head.
literally this. I mean, it's because nothing happened. There's nothing to talk about because nothing happened.
I got stuff to talk about.
Oh well, maybe we will have to talk about it then because for me, like,
A lot happened for me that last senior year.
oh wow,
A lot of ups and, well, a little bit of ups, a lot of downs.
yes, a lot of loop de loops.
Just
Yeah.
a big loop and a down.
Like,
I thought I was going up, but I was going down. Just the explosion.
yes.
That's my explosion.
Dude, I saw this meme, and this meme has been like, it's been around since 2016, but somebody like reposted it the other day, and it said like it was a roller coaster, and like it had like the top of the roller coaster right here, and it said 2016, and then it had like the downhill, and it said the rest of our lives.
Honestly.
Basically, what they were saying is everybody's life peaked at 2016, and now it's just downhill from
Yeah. As far as I remember,
there.
it wasn't a bad year.
No, I don't know. It was
As long
just,
as it's
but
right.
I remember that meme actually like being true, like in 2016, if you or 2017, even if you saw that meme, you would have
Yeah.
been like, yeah, it makes sense. But you look at it now and you're like, yeah, it still makes sense because,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know,
There's just a lot that happens,
yeah.
especially from like 2016 to now.
When the
Like,
pandemic,
yeah,
which is still going to be a while, it's still going to be a while, but when the pandemic officially ends, like actually ends, you know,
I'm gonna go party.
gonna go party. But it's gonna actually go back. Well, the thing is like America, like even if like we're like good, like pandemic, like we're basically not living in the pandemic. Like
Yeah.
other countries might still be dealing with it. So it's officially not a pandemic until like the whole world is like chilled out from it. Basically,
Yeah,
it's
pretty
like
much.
okay. I mean, I just lost my train of thought. But like if when the flu first came out, and like the Spanish flu, like back in 1919, 1920, I mean, it kind of went away on
Yeah.
its own somehow. That's not the case for COVID right now. Um,
Which then
but
honestly it might
it
be
it
that
could
way. Like it might just die off.
it could
No one really knows that now.
yeah. Well, and we still like we're literally 2 years almost into this pandemic, and we still don't fully understand how COVID is transmitted.
Yeah.
Like they say like droplets like are likely the case, but like we don't know like the details of that essentially, um, which is crazy. But
Yep. Okay. I think that'll do it for the Velocito story.
yes, yeah, dude, that was man, that was an interesting time. Well, and I'm sure that was so interesting for you too, because like you've only
Yeah.
known me for like really known me for like 2 weeks, so it's
Yeah.
just kind of like,
And I also knew how you drive too, so
oh, dude, I'm a great driver. I don't know what you're talking about, but yeah, that I guess that's it for episode
Yep.
2, and we're gonna hopefully figure out a name here soon for
Yeah.
the podcast.
Yeah.
All right.
Next time we'll talk about 2020
The
and
pandemic.
yeah,
It's,
and the
Tyler
later part of
Tyler's
senior
senior
year.
year. Yeah, for sure,
That was
man.
a bad time. We'll get into that next time.
Yeah. Uh, all right, everybody.
Yep.
Hope you all have a wonderful day. We'll talk to you later. Peace
Peace.
out.